Hey, what's going on? It's DJ TL. I'm the last Mohican. I'm chilling right here in the Thalia Lounge, and I hooked up with Pioneer DJ to film a couple of conversations. As a DJ, I share a lot of knowledge and a lot of my own story online. But over the years, I did find out that there's a lot of DJs that I know, but I actually don't know a lot about their backstory. So this is the perfect occasion for me to invite someone that I've known for quite some time, but I don't know that much about her story. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to find out everything that I wanted to know. So let's get right into this conversation with Miss DJ Cutie. So let's start right there with Miss DJ Cutie.
Yes.
Let's start with the name.
With the Miss.
Yes, let's start right because I know female DJs. Some will have DJ in their name. Some will have nothing in their name. Some have DJing. I've seen that one before.
Yes.
But
You know where it
it's
comes
Miss DJ.
Yes.
Explain.
Well, actually, I started off with DJ QT. QT stands for quality time.
Right.
All right. So, DJing in Belgium, DJing in Germany, and all of a sudden, people call me like, "Hey, DJ, are you DJing tonight in this place or this club?" No, that's not me. And they were like, "Okay, well, there's a guy DJ QT." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So okay, so that was Germany.
Oh wow.
Then in Belgium, there was a white guy, like not a female and not playing urban music. So I was like, damn, okay, so I need to change this. So that's where I stepped in and said, okay, Miss DJ Cutie. There you
Wow.
go.
Okay, so we have multiple male DJs with the name DJ Cutie.
Yes.
So this takes away all of that. Okay, that's a good start.
Okay.
That was the thing from the start, because
Yes.
like my first impression, or not impression, my first thought when I first saw your name, female DJ QT, I guess, okay, cutie.
okay.
Okay, she's a cutie. Guess that's the reference right there.
Not really. Do you
No,
say that
not at
about yourself? Like, oh, you're cute? No, no.
I don't know. You see a lot of different DJ names. You never know what the motivation could be.
Yes, but for me, it was like the motivation was like the music.
Yeah.
So getting lost in music, quality time, spending quality time. So
Right.
that's it.
I think the first time I saw you play was on a stage at the Kwaku Festival in Amsterdam.
Yes, that could be correct. I was there.
And that's a very long time ago.
That was I think it was 2005. I think I did my release party for my first first single called Put the Light On with Papi X. I think it was that one or the year before, 2004.
See, and I know, and I remember that because, especially at the time, you didn't see a lot of female DJs in our scene at all.
At all.
So that was the first.
Okay.
And the second thing is you were rocking it. Like you were DJing like a DJ. And I talked to Jane Doe and I told her as well, like a lot of times when I did see female DJs, they had a certain way of standing and acting, and how I would call it is they would act as if everything was real breakable, like really careful
it's
and tender. And you were like rocking it. Hey, okay, that's what I like to see.
Yeah.
But let's take it back a step first, because that's the part I want to know. Like now you're already talking about, okay, DJing first single and all of that, but let's
just
do a complete backspin.
Okay.
When did it all begin?
Wow. I guess I was about like 14 years. I was at my cousin's place, and obviously they were DJs. So, you know, I'm standing there looking, watching. What are they doing? Oh, this is so nice. Let me try it. And then that's where I started. And so they helped me DJ, you know, teaching me a little bit of the craft and stuff.
Right.
But me, I was always afraid of the DJs like you, because you're a technical DJ, and I'm not that person. So it's okay. You are you and I'm me. So I DJ the way I like. And then I guess I moved to Rotterdam. And then, you know, obviously I have a lot of DJ friends from here, and they help me out like, yo cutie, you can come play here. I played here. This is the Thalia. I think right behind this place there was a small place called the R&B Cafe.
Wow, yeah.
Back in the days. So that's where I first DJed, like in the clubs for like, and so nervous because, you know, I'm just that little girl and
Right. Because how old were you when you were playing in that club? That was already at 14 or a little bit
No,
older?
no, no. That was, I think I was 17, 18,
Okay,
something
okay,
like
a little
that.
bit older.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit older. No, at 14 I was not in the clubs.
But your cousins were both DJs?
Yes, DJ Poshi, do you know him? And
I've-
DJ Diesel.
I think I've heard the name, but in what part of the country were they playing mostly? That was
Zoetermeer,
right.
around
Okay.
here,
Yeah.
around this area.
Because I remember at that time I didn't really go outside of Amsterdam a lot.
Exactly. So that back in the days it was like that. Amsterdam was like the scene, and then you had this side, Rotterdam, and you know,
Right.
and then the rest of the country.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah, and it's not even like an arrogance thing like we're
No.
from Amsterdam,
No.
we don't go there, but it was like I don't need to go anywhere else because everything's already happening there.
Exactly.
And I only noticed like later on, like I didn't even think about it, like, hey, you got like a ton of DJs in the south of the country.
Yes, like
up
Mondial.
north, like
Yeah,
like
exactly.
So later on, you run into all these people. But so you did basically have your start in one of the bigger cities.
I guess that was it. And
Yeah.
then I hooked up with a guy who was throwing parties in Leiden and in what was this, Venray?
Right.
So like two small places, but it was popping, and then he invited me to DJ there, and then you know invited me to play in some more clubs. And okay, cool. I was DJing even before Chucky. So Chucky we started I think in '96 in the clubs. So I was so nervous because the famous DJ Chucky was coming, and I'm standing there. Okay. But he was already rocking it. I didn't even have turntables at my house. I was just practicing, and like when I was in the club, yeah, I think I had 10, 12 inches.
So wait, but so where did you practice? You didn't have your own setup?
No, I just did it in the clubs and or at my cousin's place. Yeah, for real.
Okay, so basically your cousins they taught you the first
Yeah.
or the basics or maybe how to DJ.
Yeah, how to blend.
So you could blend,
Yes.
but you had like no record collection.
no, just 10,
and no setup.
Maybe 10. My first vinyl was EPMD, the joint.
Hey. So but whose records did you use if you play in the club though?
That 10 records. And
So that was your set. Like
that was my set. That was my set.
Oh.
I played A and B, and then the remix and.
everything.
But I wasn't playing like prime time, so
Of course.
I didn't care. I was happy to have the experience.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly. So,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's so important, and people
Yeah.
need to realize that. Like playing at home is one thing, and you
Yeah.
didn't even play at home because you didn't have a set at home. But like playing for people,
And then
different ballgame.
I did buy 2 belt-driven turntables. I don't even know the brand, but I know it was belt-driven.
Yeah.
And then when I came in the club, I'm like, okay, I started mixing, and I'm thinking, oh, what's wrong with these turntables? And then I realized, okay, there are different kinds of
They
turntables.
feel
and
so different.
it was so different. And then when I first got my first techniques, I was like, damn, this is heaven.
That's it. It's basically like your first car is like a piece of trash.
Exactly.
Like you have to like use all your force to steer. The
Yeah.
brake's not good, and then you get into like this modern new car.
Exactly.
Steering is light.
Light, yeah.
That's the same thing when I got my
Yes.
Technics. I was like,
Exactly.
okay, I just went from like a bicycle to a Ferrari here. This is incredible. Like you
Yes.
said, I used to try to scratch and then you let go, and if you don't give it enough push, then it starts too slow.
Yeah.
Or you push it too hard and then it's go.
Yeah. It goes too fast, and then man,
Oh,
crazy. Yeah. for
memories. So I mean that's great for people to know as well. Like, hey, even if you don't have stuff, there are ways to
real.
do it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
of course, nowadays it's easier because you don't need to have like a big setup.
No, it's not per
You know?
se necessary, but
No.
for me, like the real DJing starts with the techniques.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have those at home. So
Yeah.
I have a setup with a Pioneer mixer and my 2 turntables, and I have a controller.
Right.
And I also have like the Serato box.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can use whatever I like. The only thing that I don't have are the Pioneer CD players.
Right.
Because whenever I'm in the club, I just use it. Okay, so I have to start. Okay, yeah, this is it.
It's pretty easy to understand
Exactly.
how to use them.
But you can do so much more with them if you know them. But
Right.
I don't know them that well, so.
But like if you go to a club now and play, would it be on the CDJs or?
I guess.
Yeah.
If they have that, then
Yeah.
I would play with that, or I would still use my Serato because I love it. I know it by heart. It's
Right.
like, you know, this is my crate. I know where to find my. Because you know, that's what I hear about some DJs. They go to the club and they already have a set prepared. I
Right.
don't go to the club. I just go to the club. I feel the vibe. Yeah. You know what? I listen to the
There
DJ
you
playing
go.
before. Okay, so he's playing this. You know what? I'll go that way around.
Right.
But if it's not like, if the people are not feeling it, I can quickly shift. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Because if you have your set prepared, how can you switch?
You know, I've seen plenty of DJs, and I mean, we both know them. Like, you can tell they had like their set prepared, and then the DJ before them plays one of the tracks that they had in their set, and you see panic in their eyes, like, and they ask the DJ to stop playing the track. I'm like,
Exactly.
really, yo, there's so much music.
Exactly.
Why is that song the one you need? But that's because they have a prepared set. And if you do want to switch because you're using a prepared set and the crowd is not feeling it, it's much harder mentally to now make a switch because they're already prepared to play those tracks.
Exactly. And
Well,
they
for
have
us,
that in mind already.
For me, it's the same thing. It's freestyle. You
Yeah.
read your crowd.
Exactly.
And it's a lot easier to say, like, okay, they're not feeling it. Let me try this. Let me try that. And
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? I even had places where I thought, okay, now I have to play dancehall because this crowd looks like they want dancehall. Then you look at the crowd, you play a little hip hop, and they go crazy. I'm like,
Okay.
what? Yo,
Hip-hop it is.
I
There
go
we
in
go.
deeper, and then I take my EPMD, and I'm like,
Yeah.
woo! And,
That's
yeah,
it.
Yeah, because
That's it.
I used to DJ with another girl DJ, and she was the hip hop girl, and I was the reggaeton dancehall. That's how we got STEM.
Okay.
So you have best of both worlds. But for me, it was like, but I can do what she can. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
But yeah, since we were a duo, it was like they expected me to play that. So when they hear me play other stuff, this was like, yeah,
They weren't expecting that.
no,
Yeah, that's a shame though. It happens a lot to a lot of DJs that you get that stamp like, hey, you're a hip hop DJ, or
yeah,
at a certain point, like a couple of years ago, like New Jack Swing became really popular again. You started to see like the
Yeah.
swing beat parties everywhere.
Yeah.
I was playing at a lot of them, but then they
Same.
give you the stamp like, oh, yeah, you don't play new music, so we'll book you when we have like a throwback
Yeah.
gig.
Exactly.
And they
Stamp.
forget like, hey, you do a lot more.
Exactly. But to be honest, my heart goes out to that music.
Yeah.
Because for it wasn't about making money. It was about the feeling,
Right.
right? And now it's like you have a dozen of the same blah 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 blah. blah. That's
Yeah.
what. But
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot. And if I turn on the radio, like in the car once in a while, I'll turn on Fun X and I can hear 10 songs in a row where I can't tell who it is
Who
because
is
they
it?
all sound
the same.
exactly the same. And then you get that one that sounds different, and that's the one you recognize straight away. So
Yeah.
it makes so much sense to be yourself instead of
Being-
sounding like the rest. And it's the same for
Exactly.
DJs. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
and
exactly.
yeah, it's a shame, but it's always fun to talk to DJs who view it that way. Like, hey,
I have the same view, but I'm also guilty of doing that because when I know something works, I try to experiment in something else. If I see it doesn't work, I go back into
Right.
the safe zone.
of course, but that's like your backup. But at least you're being, you're showing enough of your own identity to
Yeah.
try stuff.
Yeah,
But we all have that backup. Of course, I have the backup too. If I have a new track I want to try,
Yeah.
I want to make sure I have something on the side
on the
just in
s-
case it isn't working.
exactly.
Like, ooh, okay, let me go back now. Otherwise, I'll lose the entire floor.
The fun fact about this is actually I was DJing at a club and they didn't know me. It was in Germany, and I just had I just released my track, and I was like, should I play it? They might not know it. I'm prime time. Fuck it, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
So I played it, and they all went crazy, and they were like, "Who is this? Who is this?" And then they come to the DJ booth, but you know, back then I had a manager, and he was like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Why are you so mean to the
Right,
people?"
right.
Because I would really want to talk to them, but
Yeah.
he was like, "No, don't interrupt the DJ when she's playing." And you know, so after that, and they were like, "Yeah, you played this track, and who was it?" And then you know, I would rewind the gunshot and I say, hey, this is my new track, and if you like it, and they were like, what?
But that's the greatest, right?
Yeah.
If you have an audience that's open to new stuff, because I mean, we both know that's different. You can go to certain places and you just know, like, okay, they do not tolerate any type of experiment,
yes,
because they've been trained by DJs to only hear that set of hits.
Yeah.
But then you come to a place and after a couple of tracks you find out, like, oh wow, I can play anything here, because they just like music.
Yeah.
And when you hit that, you're like, okay, now I'm, even in the vinyl days, now I'm going to go into my crates.
Yeah.
Oh, I really want to play this. In a normal club, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And then you play it and you get a reaction.
Yeah. And then the feeling that you get, I remember, so the day that you saw me DJing at Kok, I didn't have Fat Joe lean back. So I sent someone to go to the record store here in Amsterdam, or there in Amsterdam, and he came back. I said, buy it twice. You know.
Hey, the doubles. You gotta have the doubles. Yes.
Yep. I think I even bought Foxy Brown, Get Me Home. I think I bought it 5 times or something. Because one day I left the record on the turntable and the sun was shining. You know what happened?
I've had that happen in Aruba. While we were doing a live set with Brain Power, while we were in the middle of the set, all of a sudden saw my vinyl just go. Yo! But the sun was just so hot.
Yeah.
It can happen.
I didn't know, so but now I knew. So anyway, I had that. I had someone buy the record for me, and then I played it, and everybody was like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "Yeah, I knew I had to have that song."
I'm gonna give you that same song, but the exact opposite.
Talk to me.
And it actually happened in this city where we're at right now. At that time, when that song was released, I used to go to New York a lot. And I got that back. It wasn't released officially, so it was on a white label. I always went to Beat Street, buy my vinyl, way cheaper than in Holland at the time. Heard that song. Yo, I need to. The day I got back, I had a gig, I think, or the next day. I was like, I'm gonna hit him with this. Emptied the dance floor.
Are you kidding me?
Emptied the dance floor. I was basically in shock, like, but that can't be. I didn't understand, but it happens sometimes.
I feel bad for you, son.
Especially with brand new tracks.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've seen that a lot. Like, if I play the same track, like I came back like 2 months later, you got 800 people going nuts. And you're like, mother, I was here two months ago and y'all walked away from the dance floor. Same crowd. So
it wasn't ready.
No, that's it. In your mind, you're like, you have to experience this the same way I did when I first heard it. But a lot of times, your audience is a little bit different.
Exactly. Well, that's what I have when I DJed in New York. I was there and I'm playing the tracks from here, and they look at me like, you're old, you know. So that's when I started blending in a little bit more of what's happening there.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they were just cutting. They were not mixing no more. It was just cuts.
Only. Yeah.
Like, you know, and now, and I how do I say it? I do it too, because back in the days you would play the tracks how you feel. Now you look at the BPM. Oh, okay, this can go with this, and I'm actually very a lyrical DJ. So when I DJ, I listen to what is this
what's the song about, and then it takes you somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I also have a mixtape series called Mix Emotions. So when you listen to the mixtape, it has a story to it.
Right.
So it starts sad, like, oh, heartbroken, my girl left me, blah blah, my guy cheated on me, this and that, and then you hear the vibe like, okay, the heart is being fixed with someone new in my life, blah blah blah, and then it ends with, you know.
Yeah, we get to the good part.
You know.
Yeah.
So and then the next mixtape would start with that, and then you see, and so it has the whole story. So if you have all the mixes, you can play them back to back and still be in that vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. No, it is a fact. At a certain point, I remember when we started to, especially when I was playing with Mani, we were playing as the duo Major League, and we really started to incorporate like more energy and doing faster mixes. But I see over the years that just went way too far with a lot of DJs where some songs are on for like 15 seconds. I'm like, yo, we're not even past the intro and they're moving to the next song. So now you're missing out the complete vibe and everything.
You know, I did that, and I'm doing that because I'm DJing on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to.
But why?
As soon as you play a track, you get blocked.
Oh, okay. In that sense, I get
In
it.
that
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
But when I'm in the club, yeah, I can play whatever. But it just depends on the crowd, for real.
Yeah.
You have to know the crowd, and it's hard if you don't know how to read a crowd.
Right. Right. It's a skill you have to develop, and you're going to run into it. Like in different cities, people react differently. In certain cities, people show hardly any emotions, and you think that you're not doing a good job. And then after the gig, they're all coming up to you like,
yo, that was fire. And then you're
exactly. They give you all the props, and you're like,
like, but wait.
where were you?
Where were the hands? Where was the ho and the whoa and the... Okay.
Yeah. So you were DJing, and at a certain point, DJing became a full-time thing?
Yes, exactly. Well, actually, it was because there was a twist in my personal life, and and I figured, you know, when I have children, I can't DJ no more because I'm Japanese from Suriname. So, in our culture, you have to take care of your children.
Then you turn into a mom, and that's going to be your
that's it.
Your job.
Exactly. So one of my DJ friends, and I'm gonna mention him by name.
Do it.
DJ Superior.
I knew it was.
Yes.
Salute DJ Superior.
Yes. I have love for this guy for real because he called me. He was like, "Cutie, when are you coming back?" And I was like, "I cannot. I'm a mom now." And he was like, "Yeah, so you're not dead, right?" And I was like, "Man, this guy's right." And then, you know, I started DJing back again, and you know, he helped me out a lot with a lot of my my mixtapes, and you know, so it was fun working with him. He's down to earth, and he's not looking at me like you have to still learn, or you can't scratch, or you know. He was actually, you know, we would have interaction like we're having now. We would have conversations like till middle of the night, and okay, Cutie, next week come to my studio, we're gonna do this and that, and you know, yeah, I really enjoyed that time.
Hey,
to be honest,
sometimes all it takes is one person just to tell you that one thing at the right time to make you think like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and it's this guy who actually got me to that point. Well, before all of that, I was obviously also dating a DJ, which actually led me to do more DJ stuff and buy more records. So, you know, my selection got bigger and bigger, and actually with him, I learned how to do the blends. So and that's what I implement right now in my mixes. So when I go live, I play an instrumental and I take a cappella, and I would just do that. And I'm not afraid to cut my instrumental and have the a cappella play.
Right.
Before I was like, can I do that? Now I'm like, I'll do it. And I'll do my baby scratch because that's what I'm good at. So whatever, I'll do it. I'm not a technical DJ, but I do what I can.
Right.
And you know, that's because I love what I do. And that's it.
Hey,
so
and adding the baby scratch is already more than a lot of DJs do. So people will notice, and more importantly, you're not doing it for people. Hopefully you're doing it because it's a lot of fun to scratch.
Exactly.
That's why I do it. It's nothing, it has nothing to do with like showcasing.
No.
I just need that. I can't just play records and let that be it. I have to have my extra.
So you have to be extra.
Fun
So
with it.
well, when I look at you or when I listen to you, I'm like, oh man, that's DJ TLM. Ooh, you know what I mean? And you mentioned Mani before. Actually, I heard about his name because of you, but I never saw him DJ. So recently, one of my friends, he hit me up. He was like, yo, Cutie, man, you need to hop on this live stream, that Twitch, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. So I went into Mani's Twitch, and it was crazy. I enjoyed myself. I was like, damn, I like it.
He kills it there.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
But I also, you know what I also really loved about this guy? He was playing, and he let the music play. So I was like, wow, so you don't have to cut it? Like, you know, you can let it play. People are still staying in your room and watching that. Actually, I was already in my bed with my little one because I have a little one who's 3 years old. And, you know, I just have to how to put it, I have to match my time with this, DJing stuff. But
Yeah.
it was like 10 or 11, and at one point I was in my bed enjoying and this and that, and I'm looking, is this guy sleeping? He was already sleeping. I'm like,
And they'll sleep through it.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand when kids are sleeping, you can.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
Well, so I have two older ones who are now 20 and 18.
Yeah.
But when they were younger, when I was in the studio, I forget the time. So they were like, Mom, we're going to bed. I'm like, okay, cool. Can we stay with you? They would grab their little blankets and everything, put that down in the studio, take their pillows, and
Yeah.
they would sleep there. They would kiss me and they would go there, sleep there. And then I would look at the time like, damn, it's already 6 a.m. Let me go to sleep like just for an hour, because at 7 a.m. I have to get up, but I need to get at least 1 hour of sleep.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
lack of sleep, that's
Yeah,
really-
we've been there. I mean, I've had probably years in my life that I look back like, okay, I spent multiple years sleeping like 4 hours a night. That is so bad.
Yes, no,
But yeah.
you took naps between your life.
Yeah.
That was not sleep.
That's not sleep.
That's
You're,
not
you're
sleep.
right. You're absolutely right.
That's not sleep.
I'm definitely off that now.
Yeah,
like,
for
like
real?
and I mean it's different now too. Like it becomes harder to like stay up nights. I could
Oh my
stay up for a
God,
couple of
yes.
days when I
Yeah.
was younger,
Exactly.
and now after I had like a weekend of DJing, my Monday turns into like a recovery day. Like
a recovery day.
like-
I
like-
would have a recovery week.
I wish. I mean, I kind of do, because I'm definitely not back up to my level on
Yeah.
Tuesday, but
Yeah.
the Monday is like,
Yeah,
oh.
exactly.
But that's now. So releasing singles means that you also made music. So explain to me, because I remember vaguely knowing something about you and music, but I don't remember what it was. So were you the producer, artists, or
Both.
okay?
So I was just surrounded with producers, and they would like teach me. Then I would go home on my computer and like experiment. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not a songwriter, so that was cool that we had people who were doing that. So as we are in the studio and we're going,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to add a little flavor to it, and I'm like, okay, I'll do this or I'll do that, or they just go like, okay, you say this and this and this, or you sing it like la 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 la. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. I'm not a singer. Okay, to be honest, I used to sing back in the days when I went to church. So
Hey, that's
know.
that's a great school for a lot of musicians and
Exactly.
singers.
exactly. So I had a little background with singing, but I'm no Whitney Houston. I'm not a Mariah Carey, so don't ask me to do all of that crazy stuff. So I would just do the basic. But it was funny that when I had to sing, I was so shy, and
Yeah.
I still am. So every time when I hear my voice, I'm like, is that how you hear me? Like,
It's weird, right?
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, yeah, back in the days, I used to do that. And then at one point, okay, being a single mom, two young kids, DJing like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming back Monday morning, kids
Oof.
to school, blah, blah, blah. I'm still doing everything by myself. At one point, I just collapsed.
Right.
It was done. It was done.
I can imagine. That's a lot.
It was done. And I also had like one week, a month, I would just be completely dead.
Yeah.
And I have my how can I say, my backup, my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So actually my mom back in the day, she used to take care of my kids a lot for me.
We're lucky enough to have,
Yes.
let's say, a backup like that. I know
Yeah.
some people who don't, and I'm like, wow, I have so much respect just
Yeah.
knowing how many times we
Yeah.
had to like call in like a mother
Mom,
or a mother-in-law,
please,
like,
please. Yeah.
yes.
Yes, please. I need like these few extra hours of rest, please, please. Yeah. Yeah. And what actually was the fun part, I could take my kids when I was on tour in Germany, but I would also take my parents on tour, so it was like a mini vacay for them.
Okay.
So yeah, I would try to implement their fun into my work.
But how did that happen though? Like, I understand you were around a lot of producers.
Yes.
So you were part of like actually making music, but how did that come to a point of actually like releasing it? Because what time are we talking about here?
2005.
So we're still talking about a time that you are releasing through labels.
I had my own label.
See, that's why I'm asking, because I know like nowadays we can all just go home and record a song and go to TuneCore or whatever,
Yeah.
upload it, and it's going to be on Spotify,
No.
Tidal, you name it. But
No, I actually had a manager back in the days, and he just fixed it. And you know, I didn't actually. That was my main thing where it went wrong, in a way that I let everything happen. It was like I got carried away. I would just do whatever he say, and okay, cool. And at one point I was like, but what is a label anyway? But wait, how does it go when I have to do my paperwork and this and that? Because I only knew how to be a DJ. I
Right.
just knew how to be an entertainer, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then at one point, all that stuff came up. I was like, got a headache from that. And then, you know, you get the text, you get you get all that stuff, and then I figured, okay, step back. And then I started my company, and you know, and then I started to be a businesswoman. You know, and I needed ownership for what I was doing.
right, right.
And yeah, so actually I just released all those tracks on Mixcloud Records,
Yeah.
which was, you know,
But that was all physical releases, so actual
yes, on vinyl, pressed and sent out to Hawaii, I don't even, Japan, China,
Right.
whatever, like worldwide.
Yeah.
And then I would get like, you know, the numbers back, and I was like, damn, sold out. Okay, cool. And then the second, and it went, you know, it went good. I was impressed. Like, so actually, 2004, at the end of 2004, I used to work at KLM, the Royal Dutch Airlines. So, and my boss, he always told me, like, Cutie, you are going to make it, because this is not you. You're good at your job, but
He could tell.
there's more to it.
Yeah.
You know, you belong into the entertainment.
Yeah.
Actually, he passed away in 2004. So when I got my first record, I went to his grave, and I dedicated that record
Wow.
to him, and I left it there. And then his wife called me, and she was like, yeah, we took it from the grave because it was, you know, otherwise it's gonna rain and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Well, but wow, thank you. And I never met his wife. I worked a long time for him, but
Yeah.
yeah, I dedicated that record to him because he pushed me back in the days. Like, KLM is cool,
Yeah.
but there's so much more. Go do it.
It's so great to see. That's already 2 times in your life that you have someone who can like
Yeah.
be a point in that road to point you in a certain direction. Like,
Because you know what? I sit here as a confident woman,
yeah.
but actually I was so insecure and obviously insecure about people that I was around. I was around a lot of people who wanted to ride along,
Yeah.
and as long as you're doing good, it's good, but the minute it goes wrong, phew,
Opportunistic. So
Yeah.
for me, it wasn't that bad.
yeah.
More or less in the neighborhood where certain people would be like, hey, remember? And like, no, dude, we didn't hang back in the days. Like, I know who you are. But so some people started to act like they were more familiar than they actually were.
Yeah.
But you had because that's one point. Like, you had a manager, but you had a manager pretty early on. Like, a lot of DJs that I know never
2004.
had a manager.
Yeah,
at
no,
all.
I had one. No, actually, so at that point when he passed away, my old boss,
Yeah.
I was kind of depressed because obviously at that point I was a single mom
Yeah.
because my ex left me at that same time. So it was like on top of. And
Dropping bombs on you.
yeah, and I was like, okay, and now what? One of my sponsors, I was sponsored by KFC in Germany. So he called me, he said, look, this guy from this club that you're DJing tonight, he called me and to cancel. And I was like, what? He's calling you to cancel, but
Why?
that was so weird. So and then he was like, so we have a deal? I'm your manager? Yes, no? I said, yeah, you know, fuck it, let's do it. And he said, okay, let's go to the club. We went to the club, and the guy who booked me was like, because the club was open and the party was going on, but I was just too expensive for him to have.
Ah,
You
okay.
see? So, and then obviously I got paid without DJing, and he said, "You still want to DJ?" I said, "Yes." He says, "I have a club there and there." So we went to the next club, and it was like this club. It was bigger, and there I was standing with my crates on my freaking high heels, nervous as F, and yeah, there I was. I never saw so many cell phones, and it was the Nokia, you know, the old ones back in the days, in front of my face. I'm DJing. I was so afraid of looking into the crowd, and they were just standing there. And the DJs were there. "She's a DJ. She is a DJ." It was like that. Like, it's
For
impossible.
a lot of people, it's something they had never seen before, right?
Yeah. So I was in shock, and I'm just DJing there, and I rocked the place. After an hour and a half, it was done. And then that night, I didn't have to drive back. He arranged a hotel for me. I had a suite. I was like, I can get used to this.
Yeah.
So from there on, it was like Cutie as an artist was born.
Right.
So with the whole shebang and everything, with the pictures, the website, the bling bling, Cutie was... Everything was bling on Cutie.
Right.
Everything was huge, like exaggerated.
So basically, an image was created.
An
like,
image
to really
was created.
Create a brand that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you would see Cutie, you would see a lot of rings, a lot of blingage. I even had Grills Online. You know them?
Yeah.
Okay. So Grills Online sponsored me with white gold grills, Miss DJ Cutie.
I think I've just seen a picture with that. Yeah.
But I'm not that person, so I was like, okay, but whatever. I would never use those, but I did that for a photo shoot, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the same went with KFC. You know, I was in all of the KFCs in Germany. My picture with this crazy KFC hat on, with the bucket with chicken, and yeah, it was crazy. And you know, I'm just me. I'm just.
Yeah.
You know, mother of 2 children and being a DJ. That's how I saw myself. But yeah.
But do you turn into a different person when you get behind the decks?
Yes.
Did you say that as well?
Yes. When I'm home, I'm just Mama Susie. And when I'm here or when I'm on stage, it's Cutie. And it's a total different person. I would grab a mic. I would not even touch at the house, you know. I would grab a mic. I would jump on the DJ booth and I would go with my dancers. Mixed Motions, that was my dancers apart, and then I had Asian dancers, only Asian dancers, so that was Asian Sensation.
Yeah.
And I also had like a thing for kids. So I'm a single mom, right? So being a single mom, you actually don't have time because you're always with kids. And I'm thinking, they call me a lot like, do you want to play for my kids' birthday? And I'm thinking, do I want that?
Do you want that, indeed?
And then I'm thinking, no, what if that kid would be a DJ and that kid would be an MC and that kid could dance and blah, blah, blah. So they would have their own entertainment, their own people. So that's what I did.
So basically you're teaching the kids to be the music at their own party.
Exactly.
Wow. That's cool.
Exactly. Not just the whole entertaining part.
Everything.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and obviously my kids, they started dancing young. I saw my son, he had more interest in the producing part and the video editing, and he's doing that now.
Okay.
Also, if I would ask him, he would do it, but he's doing it for his sister. So my daughter is dancing. She's, how do you say that? That she's going to a school for dancing, and she has to make some of those videos, and he is doing that, different angles, and you know, with the all the it's
so this
nice.
would be like a total family thing. You could be there.
Exactly. It's
like music,
it's in the blood. It's in the blood.
But I have to say though, like even though you're talking about like having a separate personality or being a different person on stage, that person is still you as well, right? Or would you say? I mean, just to say, would that be like? No, it's not like it's.
I'm not gonna say it like.
No, but it's not like it's an act.
No.
Like even though you might be shy
the act with all the bling bling and yes, because me, I would rather go in sweatpants and you know, ponytail and whatever, no makeup, no nothing. I'm good.
Yeah.
That's me. But
still, the confidence and everything, that is something that is coming from within.
Yes.
Wow. And I mean, look, I think we haven't even you've mentioned so many things already that I didn't even go into yet, because there's a lot that happens, and I think that there's a lot that might have happened in between.
Exactly.
Because you started out and then we're at a manager, someone who becomes your manager, but at that time you just said you also already had a tour manager.
No, well, actually,
and
no. He became my tour manager because actually it was between him and that guy, and I wanted those two to meet.
Right.
And they met up, and then he was like, "Okay, you can be the manager, but you can be the tour manager." So he was good because I'm always late, and that's so bad.
But a lot of DJs don't.
I used to.
Never
I used
even
to always be
experience
late.
that. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like a lot of DJs will go through their career, and even once they do good or do well, they still never experience like that side. So this is on a bit of a bigger level, but also because you were doing a lot outside of the country.
Yes, I was actually not in the country because there were so many DJs, and as you mentioned, you were in Amsterdam,
Right.
and actually Amsterdam was already full with like a gazillion DJs, and
True.
I'm not talking about talented DJs, but just people who know people who know people.
Oh yeah.
And you know, and then there I would come like this girl, that's a girl DJ. No, it was already a no, and I was not ready to have the fight. But on the other hand, I was also thinking about how would I raise my children. I
Right.
wanted to raise my children in a way that I would be mom when I was home, and not be cutie.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So actually, and this is a fun fact, when we were in that certain place in Germany, I was huge. So we were there and, you know, just shopping before, because in the night I had to work. And me and the kids were walking. I went into a perfumery, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's Miss DJ Cutie. Bam. I don't know how many people were there. It was paparazzi. And my kids were so shocked that they closed the doors for us so we could shop in peace, because they were standing there. They just wanted a picture. But I was like, damn, I never expected that I was so big in that place, in that area. So yeah, I was shocked. So I called my manager. I said, UMF, you left me here alone with my children. All these people are here. Did you know? And he was like, okay, I'm coming, relax, relax. I said, I don't want to be alone here. So, and that time we started touring with a whole bunch of people. So with all the dancers, I had my own camera team. I had the photographers. We had the tour managers for the dancers. We had my tour manager. You know, we had the bodyguards, like really, and people who would take my crates. Yay, finally.
Oh, there we go.
Because the crates were, my nails, everything were. So that's, I was never a nail kind of person, F it, because the crates and the vinyls were killing me.
Especially, I can imagine, like with using vinyl and cutting it up, that's not really going to work.
I was confident enough to do, because I was standing behind my set.
Yeah.
I know what I was doing. I know my music.
Right.
Or back in the days I knew that music. Like right now, with the new music, there's so much new music coming up, and I get a headache from that.
It's hard to focus
to
with
be on
so
top.
much. Yeah.
Exactly. And now I have a daughter. She's on top of the Dutch music all the way, and I'm like, the first time she started to listen to the Dutch, I was like, what are you listening to? Dutch music for real? You're my daughter.
And
that's a disgrace, you know.
You're betraying the family.
Exactly. That's what I told her. And then, at one point, I started to come here in Amsterdam, in some studios where they had a lot of producers with a lot of new upcoming artists, or it was like a visvijver.
A fishing pond, or like a barrel with fish,
with a lot of talent and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, but this sounds good actually. So the beat was nice. I just didn't like the Dutch vibe to it. But right now, I got more and more into it. So I asked her to help me.
Yeah.
And before all of that happened, so you know that we, the DJs, were there to teach y'all the music, right?
Yeah.
And now it was like, now it's different. They are teaching us what is hot and what
when you
is
get
not.
to a certain age, you will need to have some sort of anchor to.
What do you want to say with
now.
a certain age? Excuse you?
Let me rephrase. When you've been playing for a long time, you do get a bit detached from what like young people listen to.
Exactly.
It just happens. Even if you don't want it to, it
No.
starts to feel and sound different. I've had the same
Yes.
experience with my oldest son when he listens to certain music that
Yeah.
you're kind of a bit like, you have to get used to it. Like all of a sudden we have something here on the table. This is just a fun little thing to do.
Okay.
Look, you started in the vinyl days just
Yes.
like I did.
Mm-hmm.
So you were around for the transition
Exactly.
when this was introduced.
Yes.
This is-
This is the what I know.
This is like the this is like the promotional one before the actual release.
Oh, for real?
There were only 13 of those, and this is probably the only one that survived.
That's yours?
No, no. But this is actually one that I've used.
I think
Because
I did.
when this
use
first
these,
came out,
Yes.
I contacted Pioneer. That's when my relationship with Pioneer actually started.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 20 plus years now. And we were working on an album, on a project, and I
Yeah.
wanted to do some scratches with our own vocals. Now, we couldn't do that with vinyl. We didn't have our DVS yet.
Yeah.
And I'd heard about this. And this is probably the unit that came to the studio because I had it in the studio and we just recorded vocals on the
Yeah, yeah,
mic,
yeah, yeah.
and then I was able to like scratch it.
It's crazy, huh? I
can,
think
like, really-
I think all the way up north, like from the south down,
It's different.
that
I know.
was different.
Yeah.
We had one that had a vinyl on top of it.
Yeah.
I won't mention the name,
Yeah.
but I used that
Yeah.
because of the feeling.
I remember that one.
And it was good, but it had a lot of problems. And then I was like, when I was in the club and I was seeing this, I was happy. I remember using a part of my mixtape, and you know, when it has a transition to the next
Yeah.
track,
Yeah.
it stopped.
Mm.
Okay, I didn't know how that worked, so I'm doing the mix because I wanted to use that part, and then the music stopped, and people were looking at me, and I felt so bad. Oh my God, that was me. But this thing, I had it with this thing.
Yeah.
But after a while, some DJs, they told me that, okay, Cutie, it works like this and this and this, and this doesn't have the USB in, right?
This is the first model. This was just CD.
Yes, it
And
was just the
so this
CD.
was when people would come out with their trolleys full of CDs.
Yes.
Writing on your CDs and
Yes.
everything. Like
and doubles.
yeah, and like now you have the new one, the 3000 that just came out. That's the first one that doesn't even have CD anymore.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's over. So
Oh my God.
we just started the era where,
Okay.
and I mean, let's be honest, like most people you know that use a CDJ, they don't bring CDs anymore, right?
Exactly. But that was really here
Yeah.
in Holland. But because in Belgium we still had the turntables. In Germany there were still turntables.
Yeah.
And in my rider there would be like, have these turntables or these ones.
Yeah.
And then I would call someone, okay, how do I turn that stuff off? Because I don't want, you know.
This is before the tutorial time where everything was online. Now if there's a new
I
device,
was,
you
I
just
was lazy. I was lazy. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
lazy. I would not tutorial nothing. I would just call
Yeah,
my,
yeah.
you know, help me out.
But to be honest, if you know how to DJ, you just need to know like, okay, I see the pitch. Just tell me how does this work? How do I browse
Yes.
through songs? What's
Yes.
that cue thing right there? And,
Yeah.
and then you're good
Yes.
to go.
Exactly. And
I
then,
mean-
oh, it's like this. Okay, so I can do this and this with that too. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. But wait, let me take a step back. Did you use the CDs, the two ones? You insert the CD like a regular CD player
Yeah.
to find your cue point? Yes.
I've tried those a couple of times, and then I used the models before this,
Okay.
like I think the 500s that opened up the top.
Nice.
So we saw the addition of like the digital era, like being able to play songs that we didn't have on vinyl yet. That was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Cool.
I kind of like where this is going.
Yes. If you would tell me, I would still use this because I needed to have that feeling.
Yeah.
I have to have that feeling. It's an addiction. Actually, I plugged the turntables back a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and then I realized, shit, I lost the touch because now you use it
Yeah.
and the needle isn't dropping, isn't skipping.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a plus when it comes to this.
Well, I'm back to the skipping now because I'm doing all vinyl sets again
Yeah.
too now.
Okay, cool.
So I've done a
Yes.
couple of those now in the live streams, and hey, skip, and oh, that one has a nice big
Yes,
scratch in it.
yes.
Oh, I forgot about that. I hadn't played it in like 15 years.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh.
Yeah.
And once it skips, you're like, oh, I remember that happened to me in the club.
Oops. Yeah, exactly. But whatever.
yeah.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
That means it's authentic, right?
Yep. Have you gotten into the streaming game, or are you going to? Because we don't currently have our gigs right now.
Yes. Well, actually, I started last year for my birthday,
Yeah.
which is coming up soon, and that's what I always do. I used to do a birthday tour for a month, starting beginning of April until the end of April, and extending into May.
What?
Or yeah. And now it's the new. It's the new, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody cannot have a party like that. So, yes, and obviously I started the stream. Also because I lost my job and I was like, I'm not gonna give up. Let's go. So, and that's when I started the live stream with the Zoom parties. And then, you know, I switched to Facebook. So I have a show called Miss DJ Cutie and Friends on a Sunday. And I don't have a specific time that we start. We just figure, you know, what is good, because I have a lot of viewers from like Dubai and whatnot. So if I would start at 9, it's already late for them. So that's why I start early, which is cool for me, because then I can go to bed early. You know,
It's a dilemma.
Yeah.
I'm in a similar situation with people
Yeah.
from all over the globe, because if I go too early, I have a lot of US viewers.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I go on at 9 p.m. for us,
Yeah.
then it's 12 in LA. Now, okay, they're awake, but it's like the afternoon. Hey, I'm on my lunch break. I get messages like
yeah,
that in the chat.
yeah, exactly.
But again, if we go towards Asia, it's already later.
Late,
So
exactly.
it's pretty hard.
It depends on what you want to do. So I'm also, I also jumped on Bigo, but that's also you know, a thing. And actually, I'm preparing to start on Twitch, but
Yeah.
I'm taking my time. I have no rush. You
No,
know?
but that's the thing. Some people think like, oh, I'm too late now because all DJs are doing it already. First off, not all DJs are doing it. And second of all, it's never too late, because like for some, it's going to be something they do for a couple of times and stop. Now I'm finding a freedom that I kind of lost when you do clubs all the time.
Yes.
Because you
can
are
play
stuck to an
what you
audience,
want.
and even though I put some of my own stuff in that I want to put in, it's still your job to just rock that particular crowd. And they
yes.
could be the most like corny type of crowd that only wants to hear the hits.
Exactly.
In the live stream, it's me.
Whatever. It's
And if,
you.
And if you don't want to watch, then you go on to the next stream.
Exactly.
Good. And that freedom is a lovely, yes.
Yes.
That release that you need sometimes, like having a gig where you can play whatever you like, that is streaming to me. And that's why I'll continue to do it even when the clubs come back.
Yeah.
I'll do a combination.
Exactly.
Like I'll still have a streaming night, and I'll probably start streaming my sets when I'm in the club.
Exactly.
Because you can build your audience, your streaming audience, but now you can like take them to the club with you.
Exactly.
And even we can get into business stuff. Like you could figure out like if you want to see me play in a club and stream,
We talk later.
you
I
have
mean,
to,
hey.
you know, subscribe. There's all sorts of things you can do.
Yeah.
But again, we have to do this again, and we'll hook up once this whole.
Yo, Pioneer needs to hook me
era
up with the
is
3000. I need to practice at home.
You need to
because
practice with
yes. Pioneer, where you at?
But I know you really have to go, so we're gonna
Yes.
stop it now. I want to thank you for your time.
I want to thank you for having me.
Yes, but I knew this was going to be interesting because, like I said, I've known you, but there's so much I don't know. I see certain things, so I knew a
Yes.
little bit about everything, but definitely not as much as you told me now.
Exactly, but
And I know there's a lot more.
There is a lot more. I didn't
Yes.
even talk about all the artists that I worked with. I did tour management for artists. I mean, I toured the whole world.
There we go. You're still, at this
Yeah.
moment, you are still Red Cafe's official DJ
Yeah, for here.
when
for
he
the,
tours in
in
Europe,
Europe,
right?
exactly, yes.
And I mean, that's been for quite some time. I remember photos
Yes.
from,
Yes, from way back.
Yeah. we got to do this again.
Yes.
We'll make that happen.
Let's do that.
All right.
Okay, cool.
That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we got to go.
Bye, you guys.